In 1995, you did wrestle one match for ECW against Tommy Dreamer. You had one match with him. And I know Luna was in ECW as well. Do you have any memories of that time in ECW? Was Paul Heyman doing the big Kool-Aid speech? What do you remember about it?
I'd never seen so much drugs in a locker room when I walked in. I walked in and they literally were taking acid and snorting cocaine. I was like, wow. True story. I went in. Me and Luna were kind of in a rocky. Our relationship was kind of rocky over. There was some drugs and stuff that I didn't necessarily like. I was no baby face. I was no angel. I did my share of dirt and dabbled in some stuff, here and there. But the stuff she was on was like out of control, and I was worried about her. And it was like all that. Most of those guys up there, they were all on all that stuff. And so I came in with kind of a bit of a chip on my shoulder, and they had me wrestle Hack Myers right out the gate, and I wrestled Hack, and then they go, oh, we need you to work Tommy now. Like literally a minute later, I just walked back, and I was like, so I was thinking, this is some kind of weird, I don't know, they're trying to catch me, blow me up or something. I don't know, it was just suspect and suspicious, and I went out there, and then Stevie Richards swears I tried to knock Tommy out with the first punch, but I didn't. I think I was just excited, because I like, get your hands off my woman, and I don't know if anybody seen that match? There's a lot of blood and a lot of chair shots. He would hit me with a chair, I hit him twice as hard. I was literally bouncing chairs off like 3 rows. You've seen it, right? You've seen it, right? So it's a typical ECW match, blood everywhere, frying pans, construction site tools or whatever, I don't know, studs and beams and lots of blood and beer cans. And so they worked that, and they said, well, you're going to do like an angle with Dreamer or something. But every time I showed up, they would say, oh, he hurt his finger or something. And then Stevie said they just thought I was trying to beat him up. But I really wasn't. I just thought I was working that style. They were aggressive with me. I'd be aggressive back. It wasn't that big a deal because I went to all Japan at 19 years old, and I had Kawada, Masawa, Hansen. People just trying to murder me. They've wrestled all these years in the business, and here I come rolling in with 2 years under my belt, 3 years under my belt, yeah, I'm in all Japan. Welcome, boo! I'm like, wow, I didn't know a chop could actually hurt, Kabashi, you know what Kabashi is, these guys? Oh, yeah. All these guys, so they're like giants to me. I'm like, these guys are like warriors, so to me, the physical style, and I was in Puerto Rico, was just very natural. I didn't think nothing of it, so when he was bringing all that to me, I was just giving it back with an attitude, and apparently it was just, maybe it was too much. They were convinced because maybe my problems with Luna, and she was with Tommy in that group or something, and maybe they just thought I was taking cheap shots. I don't know. So every time I showed up, it was supposed to be Dreamer, but they'd be like, oh, no, you got this guy, you're going to do this. And then one of the last times I showed up, it was in Middleton, New York, and it was time went by, and they go, oh, no, you're working the Steiners tonight. The Steiners were debuting or something. It's like midnight, and it's raining, and you got Scott Steiner trying to suplex you 30 ways from Sunday. But they actually, I can't remember if it was Scott or Rick. One of them came up to me and said, hey, they asked us to get you a little bit, so make it look good so we don't have to. I'm like, what? So then I knew that I wasn't paranoid. I knew that they were just trying to do things. But I get along great with the Steiners, so it was actually not too bad of a match to be in the middle of the rain, but it was never really, I was never all the way in there. I was just there for a cup of tea, no trust on my end, and I constantly thought something was up on their end, but it could have just been my paranoia, having the outs with Luna and fighting and being in a very bad spot and place in our time in our relationship. But Lord knows we come through it somehow. We spent another some years together or something.
I did want to ask you, because at that point, Luna gets rehired in WWF in 1997, and she's doing the angle with Goldust on TV just before you come back. And then obviously she starts working with Sable. And I know it's kind of been publicized, but it always feels strange that Luna was there to make Sable look good. And she did her job really well, but she just was never appreciated for that.
I don't think Sable ever even trained. I think she might have worked out a couple times with her husband, but I don't think she ever trained to wrestle. I can't remember who Luna was out with. Maybe it was Goldust, and Sable was out with somebody. She was managing somebody.
Mark Merrill.
Mark Merrill. Was she still with Mark Merrill that started with him? But her and Luna got a crowd reaction, and the people played off it, and they saw that in the back, and that's where it all stemmed from. They go, oh, this could be great if we can get Sable to wrestle. And then Luna offered to help train her and stuff like that, but she never really wanted to train. I think she trained with Mark a little bit. So she wasn't properly trained, but that all stemmed from just a crowd reaction on a house show. It might have been the Garden. I'm not sure where it was. So it was just like everybody reacting here to something, and the writers, Vince Russo or maybe Vince McMahon, they both, oh, that might work. So they just shot Sable up to the top. And Luna, she was from a wrestling family. She was very protective of wrestling, took it serious. We'd be in a Denny's. She was signing autographs for people. She had no problem, even if she was eating or whatever. If you said, hey, can you sign my napkin or this? She'd go, yeah, sure. She loved it. But if you said, well, that's all fake, isn't it? And she'd be like, across the table. You're trying to pull her off this poor person she was just signing an autograph for because she was protecting wrestling. When it came up, if you watch like a lot of these documentaries and stuff that come out, you'll hear how they'll say, like, they would encourage the wrestlers to get in fights in bars, but if you lost, they would fire you and stuff. Because they wanted to protect it as a very tough guy. These bigger than life figures, and that's how they drew money. That you believe that this guy is gonna kill this guy because he spit blood all over the stage. David's gonna get heat and a camera, and then these guys over here. Damn, you got people in the cheap seats over there. How you guys doing? See you over there. Oh, way back there. All right. Oh, it's just a camera dude or something, or lighting guy. All right, so she'd go from signing an autograph 1 minute to trying to kill the guy. So she's very protective of wrestling. So for Sable to come in and not want to train and not really put her heart into it, and then get handed the world, right all the way up to WrestleMania, and they kept coming to Luna constantly. I can remember always. They think I'm gonna hurt her, I'm gonna beat her up. She had this raspy voice, and I go, well, are you? She goes, no, I would never do that in the ring. Now in the locker room, So she wouldn't do it. And she would get very offended that they were worried that she would hurt her, and it went on. But then they did the WrestleMania. I think it was a tag match, maybe. And then this is one of the saddest things I saw, because Luna did it with all her heart. She cares about wrestling, so they have the match, they put Sable over, they get through the whole thing. And this is Sable without training, gets through all this. And then Luna's coming back, and she sees them with flowers, Vince and the writers and stuff. And she honestly, for one brief second, thought they were for her, because they were like, oh, that was great, you did it, girl. She thought they were complimenting her for getting Sable through the match, and they walked right by her to Sable and gave Sable the flowers and stuff. So she was... I think that day she probably would have left us all that day. But Owen Hart seen that, and he grabbed her real quick and took her behind this makeup thing and said, "You're the real star of that match. You did that." And I think he saved us that day because I never seen somebody catch her. Owen, the rest of all, he's a great guy, Owen. So he saved her, and he saved me too, because if that would have happened then, I don't know how I would have came through that, but. Yeah, that's it.
Wait, I'm curious though. Was Sable never appreciative? Even at the beginning, was she not like, thanks so much for helping me?
Well, I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want Brock Lesnar to come after me. You trying to set me up for F5 out here? It's bad enough I go into the airport with blood on me now because you want the blood? Fucking hell. No, I don't think she was. I don't think she even cared. I think it was just something she fell into, and she was with Mark, and he was doing it, and then. I think it was just something she fell into. I don't think it wasn't like, you're obviously a wrestling fan, and everybody here is a wrestling fan. You've watched it, whether you're new to it or not. You have a passion for it, you watch it, enough that you come here to see it, right? I don't think she would come buy a ticket to see anything to do with wrestling, you know what I mean? I don't think she watched it. I think it's just something she fell into, and she's like, whatever, this is cool, and then led to bigger things like the Playboys and everything, and then, but with everything you get, things change, then Sonny came along, right?
But so in a second we'll talk about you.
Sonny was first, then Sable. Yeah, and then Sable, and then the Trish Stratuses and the Michelle Magoo's, all that. It's just how it goes. There's always a younger, faster pussycat. That's what Luna always said. Younger, faster pussycats. They're never gonna stop coming. They just nothing you could do about it. So she was trying to adapt and work with Sable, and then she was so hurt when she never got any credit for it.
So you told a story about you ended up almost involved in a backstage fight with Sable, Mark Mero, and Luna.
Oh.
Can you tell us that story?
Yeah, I'm not a very good person when I get sick. You get ask my wife now, she'll tell you I'm the biggest baby in the world. I just get if I'm gonna get in a fight, if it's a physical fight, it's usually when I'm sick. Like I'm just not good at it. I don't do it well. I don't know. I tend to think that I'm invincible, but yet I broke my neck twice. I have no idea. I beat the hell. But for some reason, I think I'm fine. But when I get sick, it just really goes to hell. And so I was sick with the flu, and you couldn't miss TVs, diarrhea, screw you, be there, I'm puking my brains out, you better be there, because somebody else is going to take your job. Younger, faster pussycats, well, that goes for the dudes, too. You know what I mean? They're all waiting. Oh, somebody got hurt. Oh, yeah. Well, the spot's going to open up, It's really hard to get a spot. There's so many talented people, especially in the Attitude Era. There's so many talented guys, just floating around on Shotgun Saturday night waiting. If I could just make it to Heat. And I get from Heat to Raw, it's on, like, that's how it was. So, what was the question again? Told you,
The backstage fight with
Mark
Meadows.
Yeah, so when I'm sick, yeah, boom. So, thank you. Yeah, all right, the backstage fight. So I was not feeling good. I was pretty good friends with Stephanie. Sorry I'm sweating so much. The lights, I feel like I'm being interrogated.
Tell us what really happened backstage.
I'm not smoking that crack, I promise. But I might be moving around like that.
He did not smoke crack, everybody. Let it go.
But so I was sitting with Stephanie having lunch, and then Mark and Sable come in, and they sit next to Stephanie. Like, they would never come sit by me ever, But they came in. It was so weird. They just came in and sat down by her, and I was like, I looked at Stephanie, and she looked at me, and we're like, oh. It was just really weird. Like, a minute or two later, the catering door swings open. She comes, now I know why they sat there, because she was coming for him, and she gets over there, and I don't know how to do this without cussing, but she gets over there. Sable, I would never hurt you in the ring. Mark Merrill, you piece of crap. You better stay the hell out of my effing matches, this and this and that. You might knock me out, but I'll pull your eyeball out and bite a chunk of your face before you do. So she's over there to fight Mark Merrill, for coming in and going, no, we're not doing that. Or no, we're not doing that. When she goes, it's Sable's match. Trying to put it together, but he would take control of it. And, who knows what it was. But they came and sat there because they knew Hurricane Luna was coming. They knew the was on. It was coming. So she literally went to go after Mark Merrill, and Shane McMahon grabbed her. So Shane's dragging her out. I'm looking at Vincent, Godfather, sitting over there, and I'm sitting with Stephanie, and I just kind of I'm not with her. I'm already feeling under the weather. So, I didn't know what to do, so I go, I guess I'll eat. So I go to take a bite of food, and then Mark goes, you see what I put up with that effing C word, And I'm like, you guys don't think bad of that word, but in the States we don't say it much. And I go, oh. And then Stephanie looked at me, and I just had to put the fork down, and I go, listen, I stay out of all your guys. I have to hear her chirping all the way home about this and I stay out of it. I stay as far politically out of this as I can as a husband. And as a wrestler, I'm just trying to stay in my lane. You guys came over here. You sat down next to me knowing this was coming. And that's fine, too. But that's my wife. You can't sit there and say that kind of things about her. If you want to go say something to her, go say it to her, not after she's drug away, And then he started in on me like, oh, F you, I'll kick your ass, you don't like me, we were trained by the same guy. And he just went on a rant about stuff. I was thinking to myself, really, I said, I didn't know he was trained by Malenko. I was clueless. I didn't know. But he ran on, and I said, you want to fight? Because I was getting mad. And he's like, yeah, I'll kick your ass or something. So I got really hot. I hit the table, and then Stephanie moved out. And you see people clearing out. And I said, get up. He wouldn't come. I flipped the catering table, went over. I said, get up. I'm going to fight you. And he's like, oh, I'm not fighting. He didn't want to fight all of a sudden. And I went to hit him, and rest in peace, Draws, who just passed away. He grabbed me as I was doing the same thing Luna did. You mother, dragging me out. It was a good day for the family, I'll tell you. With Vince watching the whole time. So they drug out, and I'm mad, and I go, well, I got fired. I don't care. I'm thinking I got fired. And Luna disappeared, and I didn't see them anywhere. And then I don't know if it was Stephanie, I think, came up to me and said, you need to go to the office. Vince wants to see you. So at the TVs, you always have his own little office. And I walk in there, and they're already sitting in there. They're just quiet in chairs. Vince isn't in there yet, but the only chair left is the chair Vince would sit in at a desk. So I said, well, if I'm getting fired, I'm going to go out Good style. I sat down in his chair, put my feet up on the desk, and I was just sitting there, and he walked in and said, David? I said, sir? And then I started laughing. I just started laughing. And he goes, I wish we could all laugh about this. Do you want to share what you're laughing about? You know, like in his Vince voice and all that. And I go, they got me. He goes, what do you mean? I go, man, I have to listen to this crap day in and day out from all directions to stay out of it. I said, they finally drug me into it as hard as I tried to stay out of it. He goes, yes, they did. And if you hit him, you're fired. Please get out of my office. And on my way I went. He kept them all in there, and they all got fined and trouble and stuff like that. They just let me go. I think because I assumed I was fired anyways. I was going to go out with style, man. I was putting my feet out there like, you, man.